Hello everyone, welcome back to Obsessive Prepper AZ. I just went to the grocery store yesterday, and before I get everything put away, I wanted to share with you some of the things that I purchased and then discuss some of the things that we can add to our preps to make our food supply larger in case of where we are shut down, where we can't get to the grocery stores. The grocery stores may be completely empty and there's no food. So what we can do to extend something small and make it bigger. I also want to talk about, I know there's a shortage on mason jars right now. There was a letter, I'll leave it up here for you, that the mason jar companies are basically not going to sell mason jars, are holding them until next fall time. So a lot of my videos I show things in mason jars, how to store with your mason jars. But if you have food saver, put them in your food saver bags. If not, just do the next thing. It's all about heat, light, and keeping the rodents and bugs away. If you can make it airtight, that is always a bonus by using something like a bucket like this. If you want to put something in it, your pastas, just don't put it in this. Make sure that it's a self-sealing bucket, not something that a bug can crawl through. If you have mason jars or Mylar bags, food saver bags where you can suck the oxygen out, use the oxygen absorbers in your bags, your Mylar bags. Use something like that, because I know there's a shortage on the jars right now. A bucket like this with some bay leaves with just your beans. Put your beans in a garbage can or a bucket and store it like this. When I use the example of using mason jars, it is something that is going to extend the life. You put it on the shelf and you do not have to worry about it. A rodent is not going to get through a mason jar. So that's why I'm always pushing mason jars. I like my food saver to store things, but a rodent can gnaw through plastic. It could, even when it was hungry, gnaw through a plastic bucket like this. And I have one of my subscribers that I talk to quite often. She just had an issue with mice and she had to get on it. And she got her mouse trap out and got rid of it, because when you have mice or rats that are hungry, they can gnaw through anything plastic. So something like metal, just make sure it's waterproof. So that's just a quick little, I'm going to get this out of the way. That's just another quick little thing. Okay, I did a video on May 4th on my husband and I going out in his big rig. We did an onion delivery. We went and picked the onions up. If you want to see a neat ranch, going picking onions up and delivering them. But I did a video on how to store onions. Check that video out. I did the video on May 4th. Now we're June, July, August, September, October 4th, 5 months ago. Got some video footage up here that how I still have them hanging and what I have left, and showing you how to store your onions for long term. 5 months, easy. Going in 6, 7 months, I'm going to pull one out of here and show you. So when I have them hanging, I just go from the bottom up, get rid of all of this, and I'm going to show you what my onion looks like. I had one out of a couple hundred of them that sprouted, and one that actually went mushy on me, out of a couple hundred onions. So this is a great way to store your onions to get the best shelf life for your onions. Let me get it, I'm breaking it open here for you. You can see it is not mushy at all. So store your onions that way when we're looking at trying to get longer life for our preps. And for me, onions is a major thing. Now we talk about like dehydration. Lemons, dehydrate your lemons. This is a jar that I did last March that I'm still using. Every year I will dehydrate, but these will last several years if you dehydrate them. So just trying to get the best shelf life. So we did our update on our onions. Now when I talk about what I just purchased, I always, every time I go to the store, I'll buy a case of toilet paper, case of paper towels. That's just a given. I've got them out in my prep room, and I just store that stuff, and I always have. And I did, during this whole shutdown that we had, I didn't have to go purchase one item. And so when we talk about prepping in the past, it has been things like doomsday prepping, natural disaster. We never really thought about a pandemic shutting things down and our food supplies. As preppers we do, but if you're new to prepping, you need to think about loss of income, loss of job, and that's why you need to have those kind of preps. And I've got tons of videos that you can go back to and watch. One of my favorite series that I did is my 10 bucks a week food challenge. This video here, there's 11 videos, and I show you how to build your preps up inexpensively and get them up, get them stable. This is your shelf, your pantry kind of food preps. Once you've built your pantry up, then you can do longer term food storage. So now in dehydrating, I show a video on doing dehydrated hash browns. You can purchase these already done if you don't have a dehydrator. If they come in the cardboard boxes, get rid of them or store them in a bucket or something bugs and rodents can't get to. But we're talking about extending the life on our product. Now something simple like this that we store in our pantry, comes in a cardboard box, SHTF happens. And we have one box, but it'll only feed 3 or 4 people. What you can do is add your dehydrated potatoes, add some more water, and then add it to your mix. And the mixes are kind of nice. Just a cheap Walmart brand, whatever brand, I don't care. If you are starch free, then don't purchase them. If you're organic, purchase something else. I'm just talking in general. If you eat something like this, you can add this too. And by having these boxes, the flavor that you can add to your potatoes is just a bonus, and you're extending your meal bigger. Well, moving on from those potatoes, talking about mashed potatoes, I showed a video a few months back on doing mashed potatoes in mason jars. Again, I know mason jars are getting harder to find. So Mylar bags, food saver bags, putting them in secure containers. I showed you IKEA's jars on a video. There's other ways to store your product. Mashed potatoes is a great filler. Now, there are people out there that are going to kill me on starches, but as preppers, we know when SHTF situation happens, it doesn't make a difference if you have a starch. What you have, you're going to be thankful that you have it. So if you're organic, if you're this or you're that, prep for what you eat. But in the long run, the longest shelf lives of food are our starches. It's just a given. It is what it is. Purchase these little Mylar bags. Put these in a container that is sealing. Now these Mylar bags or your mashed potatoes, what we can do to extend a meal on this. Get a can of chunky soup. Now this stuff I only purchase, I don't eat a lot of it, but I only purchase it when it is on sale. Now years ago I did a video where they were 99 cents a can, chunky soups. Haven't seen those prices in a long time. But right now, Fry's Kroger's got Progresso soup on sale for 99 cents a can. Go get those. I will only purchase this stuff when it is on sale. I never buy it top dollar. Take a can of this, cook your rice, cook your mashed potatoes, dump this over it, and you have a meal that can feed a few people that will make your family happy. Again, think about different things, different ways you can use your food preps that is going to make your family happy, foods that they will eat and be satisfied. Now, there's tons of videos out there on the bucket meals. Buy this bucket meal, buy this. If you did nothing but eat those meals, in an SHTF situation, you're going to be miserable. I mean, you are going to be miserable. Eat a little bit of it and figure out how much, the texture, what it is. You're not going to be happy. So this is why I keep going back to make your pantry stable. Build your preps up in your pantry. So we have our potatoes. We can pour this over the rice. Easy peasy meal in an SHTF situation. Now back here, I've got soup mixes. I'm always purchasing soup mixes and different mixes. The other day, I bought 5 packages each, and I went brain dead. When I do everything, I put markers on it of the date. I don't care about the expiration. I care about when I purchased it. That's the way I rotate my food. So there's nothing that I'm going to have that doesn't have a black Sharpie date on it, and that's how I keep things rotated. I went ahead, because I was brain dead, and put 11/20 on everything that I purchased the other day. That being said, I went ahead and purchased 5 of the Alfredo mixes and 5 of the spaghetti mixes. Now, you can can your own spaghetti sauces, you buy the ragouts, things like that, but inexpensive, in a pinch, you can add your spaghetti sauce to any of your pastas. If you can't find mason jars, IKEA has tons of these kind of jars still. And if you see, I put oxygen absorbers in it and still sealed. So you can use oxygen absorbers on jars like this. So you can always use your spaghetti sauces, your fettuccine noodles. You can even do onion soup mixes, mushroom soup mixes, things like that to extend your rices, your pastas, make bigger meals out of them. So I'm always purchasing little things like this. Now, once you have preps, and you have plenty of them, it's keeping a list of what you use and then going to the store and repurchasing what you already have. That makes it so much simpler to build your preps up and maintain. Then you go from there, and it's like if you have 3 months food storage, do you want to build it to 4 months? Do you want it to build it to a year? So figure out where you want to be, and then when you get there, just maintain it. If you just even your personal items, if you use a tube of toothpaste, go back, purchase the one, put it behind the older toothpaste, and then you always have your older in front, your newer in back, and you never run short, and you have that OSHT moment. So I always purchase some extras of these, and this is my way of how I store it in a little box. And again, I'll put these behind because I know that these are newer. I went ahead and purchased 2 more packages of grits and 2 more containers of oatmeal. I'm going to go ahead and put these in my half-gallon jars, my oatmeal. Normally, I would get these from the LDS Cannery. If you watch my channel, I love the LDS Cannery, but because of what's been going on, they've been shut down and I haven't been able to get there. I always pick up cans of tuna. Always pick up cans of tuna. They store a long time and they will feed, and what they provide in protein is amazing. So I always pick up, and then right now, like this is Winco's, 68 cents. Some of the stores are even getting a little bit more pricier on their tunas, if you've noticed. Fry's Kroger had their cake mixes on sale and their brownie mixes, 75 cents a box. If you're a baker, or if you don't eat a lot of this product, but you make it for certain times of the season, 75 cents a box is amazing. That way, if you don't eat it or use it, come time the holiday seasons, you can always use it. But in SHTF situation, you're going to need calories, and you're going to need to make your family happy. And simple, inexpensive things that you can store, you can cook in an SHTF situation to make your family happy. Also, if you're going to store these and they get a little older, make sure that you store some baking powder, because the leavening agent in this is going to kind of go down a little bit. So I will always, in my year-old cake mixes, add an extra teaspoon of baking powder to my mixes to help it rise. I always purchase rice-a-roni we eat rice-a-roni, our family, that's my husband's favorite rice, along with white rice, but we always do rice-a-roni, and I will take these out of the boxes because it is loose in the box, and I will put these in half-pint jars. It'll store perfect. Again, if you do not have jars, but you have a way to put them in buckets that can seal, 5-gallon buckets with gamma lids, get it on there, screw that lid on. Those are sealed tight. Put your boxes in there. Just make sure, again, like I said, I went brain dead. I put 11/20 on everything. Make sure that you put the date. That way you can keep the freshest, the oldest, and use the oldest. Again, your soup mixes work great for that. Making your meals bigger for your family. I can potatoes. I have got to start canning again. I live in Arizona. You haven't seen canning videos from me. You will always see them come October until my temperatures start rising again. We're at 104 today here in Arizona, so I'm not going to pressure can. It is just too hot. So you'll see some of my older videos if you go to my playlist on how to can. But I don't have any potatoes. I've used all my potatoes up. So I always will purchase canned potatoes like this. Diced potatoes, whole potatoes, on top of me canning my own potatoes. This will also add to soup mixes, homemade soups that can stretch your buck. You can take this, dump it out on a paper towel, and fry them up for hash browns. Again, hash browns, your dehydrated potatoes, you can add water to them, rehydrate them, and now you've got hash browns. So I've got a little bit of everything. And if you go through my closet and my older videos, I will show you, I do not just have cans of potatoes, but at 50 cents a can, what a great bargain to put in your preps. I've got a pallet here, so 12 cans with $6, and it's just a great deal to have. If you eat it, again, only purchase what you eat. I store the heck out of chicken broth, beef broth, vegetable broth. If you want organic, buy organic. But for 50 cents a can, SHTF situation, hard to get water, you can use some chicken broth. If you're cooking whatever it is, if you make something and you open up a can of vegetables, don't pour the liquid out, use that liquid. But I will always store tons of cans of chicken broth. I use canned chicken broth. I like the bouillons, whatever you use. But to me, when you're trying to rehydrate something like a pasta, your rice, your potatoes, you can always use chicken broth. So it's just another thing to think about. Again, check out my $10 a week weekly challenge that I was given, and I show you those videos on how to build your preps up. I do a 10-week, almost 11-week series of this, showing you different things and giving you tips and hints. Well, I'm going to leave it there. Another thing I just want to real quickly hit on is water. You can never have enough water. A gallon a day per person that you're going to need. And you have to think about, on top of that gallon of water, you need water to rehydrate your beans, your pasta, your rices. That's where the beef broth comes into, the chicken broth comes into, but you need to always think about that. I've had several people that have just made comments to me that are moving to Arizona, asking me things about water, what my ideas are. And especially in drier climates, you need to have 55-gallon barrels or 100, 250-gallon containers to hold your water. Think about garbage cans, running water off your roof, a mesh screen over the plastic garbage can to catch your rainwater, Berkey water filters that I've got over here, water filtration systems, straws, water purification tablets. Make sure you have bleach. Think of these things. And I have a coming video showing you a Whoppy for the Solar Sun oven that will pasteurize your water, let you know when it's pasteurized. So I'm going to end it there. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it's just another refresher. You still have time to prep. We've got another month before elections. Gosh knows what's going to happen. And even if it's not the elections, you don't know what's going to happen in the coming months or coming years. You don't know that you can lose a job. You don't know that you need the money. Medical, natural disaster, the zombie apocalypse. So get to prepping. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. If you want to be notified for future videos, ring the bell. Have a blessed day.